Hello guys, welcome to my channel. This is Tejaswita Khidke from I'm from Pune and I done my diploma in interior designing from Jagannath Rati Vocational Guidance and Training Institute, and I got rank 1 when I got passed out from 2015 batch. And you can see here is me, Tejaswita. I had an MSc MBA and then after diploma in IDP. Here is my email ID. So we'll move forward. Today we are discussing about the topic construction, where we have already done with the introduction of construction. Now moving forward for the first topic under the construction that we are going to cover is building components. So what are the building component basically? So if you think about any building, you can imagine there are different components. So after all those components combined together, you will form a building, right? So that components are nothing but the building component. So I listed some components here. Those are, first is foundation, then plinth, then walls, columns, floors, doors, windows and ventilators, stairs, roof, building finishes, building services. These are basic components of building. So I will be discussing all the things in detail now. First is foundation. So you can see here all these people, they are working for a foundation. You can see here are bars of steel, iron, and here is something wooden components are there, and they are dug out a part and they are making something. So that is nothing but the foundation. You see these things when the steel is combined with the concrete and the structure is constructed. That is called as RCC. You must be aware of that thing, right? RCC, everybody is used to of using that word RCC, but most of you people, most of us don't know the long form of RCC. RCC is nothing but the reinforced cement concrete. So why it is called reinforced? Because you see there are two components: cement, that is cement, that is concrete, and steel. Both of them used together to form this structure. So hence the name is given RCC, reinforced cement concrete. So foundation. What is the foundation? Basically the foundation is lowest part of the structure below the ground level. Here you can see this is the ground level. You can see here this is the ground level. Ground, you can see the ground level, ground, and this is the foundation which is below the ground level. So the lowest part of the structure below ground level is nothing but the foundation. It is in direct contact with the ground. You see, direct contact with the ground. Here is the ground level, and then this is the foundation, and below the foundation there is again a ground. Then the next, it transmits all the dead, live, and other loads to the soil on which the structure lies. So you see, this is the foundation above which all structure is going to lie, and it is going to transfer all the live and dead loads. That is, live means the live people, we, you, and me, all of us, and the dead loads like walls or chairs or tables or anything we are going to keep in that building, that load is going to transfer to the soil by this foundation. There are two types of foundation. One is spread footing and another is column footing. We are going to discuss all these things in later when we are discussing about frame structure. That time I'm going to teach you all the things. So you just need to remember now, just need to remember there are two types of foundations, that is spread footing and column footing. Basically, there are again previously there are many types of buildings like you have seen in Chanwarwada in the Pune or different old buildings. Those buildings are constructed on the principles of load bearing walls. So the walls bear the load of whole the structure. So that type of structures are called as load bearing structure, load bearing wall basically, and footing is that kind of footing where it is used, that is known as sprayed footing. And the next frame structure, that is column footing. Nowadays it is very common, and nobody goes to construct the building with the load bearing walls. Everybody prefers frame structure. We will discuss it later when we are going in detail for frame structure. Then the next part is plinth. So what is the plinth? You see, the plinth is the portion. Just wait for a while. You see, the plinth is the portion of building between the ground surrounding and the top of the floor immediately above the ground. Means you see, here is the ground, here's here is the ground, here is the ground level, and you see this is the bottom, right? Means foundation, and above the foundation there is a plinth. You see, this is the plinth, and above that, here is the floor, ground floor. So the portion between that floor and the ground is nothing but the plinth. So you can see in this figure, and this type of footing is a sprayed footing. We will discuss it in later. So the level of surrounding ground is known as ground level or formation level. You see, here is the level of surrounding ground. Here is, you can see the level of surrounding ground, the ground which surrounds the structure. That is known as level or formation level, and the level of ground of the building is known as plinth level. The level of ground floor of the building is known as plinth level. That is, you see, if we imagine here is the ground floor, then the level of this means above the ground level, and this is above the ground level. You see, the level of this ground floor is known as plinth level. Then the plinth height should be such that there is no possibility of the rainwater entering into the ground floor. Proper drainage should be there. So you see, the height of the plinth is such like that whenever the rain falls, it will go directly here, but it will not enter into the house. So that level is known as plinth level. Now we are moving forward for the next component, that is walls. What are the walls? Everybody knows what are the walls. So the definition of wall is a structure provided to enclose or divide the floor space in desired pattern. Hmm. So it provides privacy, security, and gives protection against sun, rain, cold, and other adverse effects of weather. Division varies according to the purpose of utilization of space. So what is this utilization of space? According to that, we divide the space. Can be constructed by the use of stone, concrete blocks, etc. Walls can be constructed by the use of bricks, stones, concrete blocks, and nowadays there are new materials coming in the market, like drywall. Concept of drywall is there, cement sheet, or even the partition made out of gypsum. That is also falls under the category of walls, but we don't call it walls. Yeah, we call it dry walls. Then walls can be of two types: load bearing walls and non load bearing walls. As I have already told you, what is the meaning of load bearing walls that bears the load of whole the buildings. Instead of column, there is a wall that transfers the load of whole the structure, dead and live load, from of the building to the ground level, sorry, not the ground level, to the soil. And the non load bearing walls are those walls where the whole load is carried out by the columns, and then they transfer to footing, and then the load is transferred to the soil to footing. But the walls are only carrying the load of their own. They are not carrying the load of whole the building. So that type of walls are called as non load bearing walls. As you see here, there are, I have shown a picture over here, you can see. So you can see different types of walls constructed there. So here is a closet, then you see here is a kitchen, Then here is a bedroom. Then again here is another bedroom. Here is, you can see, a home theater, a gallery, a balcony, on living room, different types of utilization. So I have told you, according to the utilization of the space have been divided into various types. So according to that, walls have been constructed. As you see, to divide a space according to the utilization, the walls have been made, have been constructed. So the next part is columns. A columns. What do you mean by columns? Everybody is aware of the word columns. And isolated, it is an isolated vertical load-bearing member. You see, here is an isolated, a single load-bearing member. It is isolated. It is not supported by anything. Is a load-bearing member. The width of which, the width, here is a width and here is a thickness. So the width of which is neither less than its thickness nor more than 4 times of thickness. So that is somewhat technical definition. You need to just mug up that definition. Then after columns are basically load bearing structures of the building. That is isolated vertical load bearing structure. A vertical structure is nothing but a column. You must be aware of using Excel. So their vertical members are columns and horizontal members are rows. So this is the column. You can remember by this way. Then the next is floors. What is the floor? Flat supporting element of a building. They divide building into different levels, thereby creating more accommodation on the given plot of land. You see, we have divided our buildings into different floors: ground floor, first floor, second floor, third floor, and many more. So these are nothing but the floors that which divides building into different levels. So we have divided the buildings into different levels. That is ground level, first floor, second floor, and many more. So the basic purpose is to provide firm and flat platform for the people and the items like furniture, stores, equipment. That is dead and live loads. I already told you. So to provide a flat platform, floors are there. It is generally referred by its location. Yeah, it is generally referred by its location, that is first floor, second floor, or ground floor. That is the thing. Then the next is doors, windows, and ventilators. So what are these? These are again also a component of building. Without them, a building cannot, we cannot say it is complete. So first thing first is door, a barrier secured in an opening left in a wall to provide usual means of access to the building, room, or passage. You see, it is a barrier. You see, here is a barrier, and here is the opening kept in a building. Sorry, not in a building, opening kept in a wall to provide usual means of access. So one can go inside or come outside. So that is the usual means of access to a building, room, or passage. So that is opening, and here is a barrier. So it is, door is nothing but a barrier kept in a opening, usually means of access to building, access of to a building, room, or passage. That is nothing but a door. You can remember, you can imagine a door and the opening, and that is nothing but the barrier. Then it consists of two components, namely a door frame. As you can see, here is the door frame, and a door shutter. Here you can see a door shutter. So these are mainly, basically, main two components of the door. There are different types of doors, like side hung doors. Here you can see it is a side hung or a sliding door. Some type of doors are sliding. You must be seeing in most of the movies in police stations. There are sliding doors, folding doors also. You must be aware of folding doors. We will discuss it in detail in later. Then the revolving doors. The revolving doors are revolves around in four sides, or rolling types of revolving is also known as rolling types. Then the next is, uh, next slide, we are continuing. Different material such as wood, steel, aluminum, plastic, flexible rubber, PVC, etc. are used to make the doors. So you must be aware of all these materials like wood, steel, steel doors are also out there. Aluminum doors are also there. plastic doors, flexible rubber, PVC. There are PVC doors also nowadays in market. It's something new in the market. So these materials are used to make the doors. Then the next is windows. What is window? Basically, an opening left in a wall for the purpose of providing daylight, vision, and ventilator. So it is nothing but the opening kept in a wall to provide daylight, vision, and ventilator. Same as a door, it again have two components like frame and the structure. Shutters. Shutters are normally fitted with the glass or similar type of material. It can be shutter can be of glass or fiberglass or can be of wood or anything. Then again, there are different types of doors, that is side hung, top or bottom hung, lower type, and the shutters can be fully or partially glazed or paneled. Then fully or partially glazed, you means what? You may ask the question, you may thought that what is this glazed? Glaze is nothing but it's made up of glass. Fully glazed means a door will be fully glazed or a partially glazed, means half part is covered by wood plywood and half part will be of glass. That is called as partially glazed. Then the next is stairs. What is stairs? Everybody knows, a structure comprising of number of steps connecting one floor to another. It is nothing but a structure which connect the two floors to each other. That is nothing but a stairs. It must be constructed in a such a manner that it is safe and comfortable to use. Means sizes of the stairs, sizes of that step. Again, we will discuss in detail later. There are two types, like there are it is made up of two things like riser and two things we will discuss it later. Then the material like timber, it is consist of different materials like timber, stone, brick, steel, reinforced concrete, etc. Then the next is roof. Here is the roof, the uppermost component of the building. It is the uppermost component of building and its main function is to cover the space below. So here you can see a building, a house basically, and here you can see decking. This is called as decking. I'll tell you what it means. So it is a covering basically, and it is the main function is to cover the structure below, the space below, to protect it from rain, snow, sun, wind, etc. So basically, roof consists of two main components, that is roof decking and the roof covering. So here you can see the structure is made out of wooden blocks. So out of wooden blocks, here the structure is made, so that is called as decking, and above that a roof covering will be fixed. So that is nothing but the roof covering. So I think it is pretty much clear to you after seeing this picture what is roof covering and what is roof decking. So the structure which supports the roof covering is nothing but the roof decking, and both of those components together form a roof. So decking, the structural component of a roof decking in case of pitch roof is generally a truss. What is truss? I'll tell you. In case of curved roof, it is shell or dome. You must be aware of domes, right? These are like these domes. You see a Taj Mahal, it's a kind of dome, not a kind of, it is a dome structure. Then in case of flat roof, it is a flat slab. In our houses, there is a flat slab. So that is nothing but again a decking. Roof covering provided over pitched surface is in the form of tiles, slates, AC sheets, GI sheets, etc. AC sheets and GI sheets, galvanized iron sheets. And in the case of flat roof, the roof covering is known as terracing. The roof covering is known as terracing in the case of flat roof. In our houses, apartments, there is a flat roof which is known as the terracing. And if you are having some doubts about this GI sheet, galvanized iron, basically a iron in Marathi we call it as a patra, patreci ghare. So that is nothing but the GI sheets, which is used as a roof covering, and below that there are pipes, there are pipes of iron or say steel which are there, and above which the sheets can be fixed, sheets or tiles can be fixed, and which forms the roof. Then the next is building finishes. There are different types of finishes like plastering, pointing, white or color washing, then painting, varnishing, distempering, and many more. So it not only protects the surface from adverse effect of weather, but also provides a decorative effect. Painting, which provides a decorative effects. Then again, the plastering. Again, there are tremendous designs available in while plastering. You will get different finishes. I'll show you the pictures afterwards. Then the next is building services. So as we have already discussed in very first chapter while discussing the syllabus, I have told you what are the building services. There are different types of services like water supply, water drainage, sanitation, lighting, electricity, acoustics. Acoustic, you people might not be knowing what is meant by acoustic. Acoustic is nothing but the something related to sound, means there should be a proper maintenance, there should be a proper management of sound. The sound should not go beyond the wall. Means if person is saying, means there is some calculations are there, and according to that all the thickness of wall and everything, thickness of bricks and everything has been decided. So we will discuss in later, but you just remember acoustics is something related to sound, which blocks the sound, and all these things comes under the acoustic. Then the heating, insulation, then ventilation, air conditioning, fire detection, fire controls, all these things falls under the category of building services. Services like water supply, drainage, and sanitation are clubbed under plumbing services. So we have covered with all the 10 building components. These are foundations, plinth, wall, columns, floors, doors, windows and ventilator, stairs, roof, building finishes, building services. So to remember these things, you can do one thing. You can imagine a building. You can imagine a building starting from foundation. First is foundation, then above the foundation there is a plinth, then there are columns and wall constructed, and again, then after the finishing of walls and columns, there will be a slab or terracing, and above that again the columns are extending above, and there is again a flooring, so which divides a space into different levels, first floor, second floor, and that platform is nothing but it is called as a floor. Then every floor there are every wall, not every wall, but according to the purpose and access, there are some openings, and these are door which is a barrier kept in an opening for the access of people. Then the windows which are there in the walls. The purpose behind the windows is ventilation, daylight, and etc. And again, the ventilators are also there in bathrooms or toilets for the purpose of ventilation. Again, they are also kept in the kitchen area for the purpose of ventilating. Then the next is stairs. We discuss about stairs. Stairs are nothing but the part which connects the two floors. Then the roof is uppermost covering of the building, which covers the building. It consists of two parts, that is decking and the roof covering. Then the building finishes. There are different types of finishes like plastering, painting, and many more. Then the last is building services. So these are plumbing, sanitation, drainage, lighting, acoustics, electricity, etc., etc., etc. So we have done with this chapter. So if you found purpose behind watching it, and If you like this video, please hit the like button and do subscribe my channel. If you subscribe my channel, you will get a notification about it after I upload a next video. So that's it for today. Have a good day. Thank you. Bye bye.